Hi, this is Roaming Millennial, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about feminism. Now, in general, when men think of the term feminist, the image that probably comes to mind is an angry woman yelling at them. When you look at some of the things self-identified feminists say, especially on social media, it's not hard to see why this is. But then there are a lot of feminists who say they're not anti-male, just pro-equality. And some also claim that to reject modern-day feminism makes you a willful oppressor of women. They're really not messing around with this stuff. So what's the truth? To understand the issue, it's important to examine the history of feminism. The feminist movement is almost 200 years old, and its goals have changed over time, as has the rest of society. So in this video, I'm going to explain how even though feminism started out as a movement for equality, it's since devolved into a crusade of aggressive man-hating. I'll also go over why not identifying as a feminist isn't the same as saying you think women should stay in the kitchen making their husbands sandwiches and iced beverages. First off, let's talk about how the first two waves of feminism focused on equality. Since feminism evolved so much over time, scholars have divided its history into three distinct periods, or what they call waves, which have each had different objectives. Although there are examples of strong female figures throughout the ages, historically speaking, it's pretty clear that empowered women weren't the norm. But this started to change when the first wave of organized feminism began in the 19th century. This wave was mainly concerned with securing legal rights for women, such as the right to vote, own property, have guardianship of their children, and increased access to education, and be able to enter professions that were previously restricted to men. Women's societies staged protests and acts of civil disobedience to draw attention to their cause. A famous example of this is when Susan B. Anthony, a women's suffrage activist, was arrested for trying to vote in a presidential election. Despite resistance, the first wave of feminism saw legal gains for women across the world. Women were increasingly seen as equal to men in the eyes of the law, though this was most prevalent in the West. Second wave feminism started in the 1960s, and although it addressed continuing legal inequalities like those that existed in divorce and custody laws, its main focus was women's cultural liberation. Second wave feminists sought to end discrimination against women in the workplace and elevate women to a more equal status in the home. They also started an open discussion about women's sexuality and sought to increase the availability of contraceptives. This was also the time that radical feminism was born, which today's trend of man-hating is descended from. Second-wave feminism was by no means perfect, but overall it was successful in securing greater equality for women. Alright, now that all that history is out of the way, let's address our second point, which is that third-wave feminism is anti-male. Third-wave feminism began in the 90s. Now, some people argue that we've entered a fourth wave of feminism in the past few years, but there's not a solid consensus on that, and the whole thing's kind of poorly defined. So let's just keep things simple and say the third wave is still ongoing. While previous feminist movements mainly tried to equate the value of men and women, third wave feminism has come under a lot of fire recently for trying to promote the belief that anything male is inherently evil. And if you think this is an exaggeration, you may not be aware that some feminists are now arguing that all men are literally rapists. Yep, you heard me. Rapists. In a less serious but equally ridiculous movement, feminists have also started labeling trivial things that men do as attempts to assert their dominance over women. Sitting on a subway, for example, may seem harmless, but according to feminists, it's in fact a way that men assert their male privilege over others. But perhaps the biggest proof there is that modern feminism is anti-male comes from what supposedly well-respected feminists are saying. This hatred for men isn't just limited to rambunctious Tumblr users, and unfortunately, the assumption that all men are misogynists has become one of the main tenets of third-wave feminism. And now the last thing I'd like to talk about is that rejecting third-wave feminism is not the same as rejecting equality. Why celebrities like Emma Watson, Ellen Page, and Aziz Ansari have come out defending feminism, arguing that it's just about equality, which obviously most people want. So we should all just start calling ourselves feminists, right? Well, the problem is that this outlook oversimplifies things. Saying that feminism shouldn't be blamed for misandry as it's simply the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities is like saying communism shouldn't be blamed for the deaths of millions of people since it's just a system in which goods are owned in common and are available to all as needed, which clearly sounds like a super awesome thing. To put it more simply, context matters. If someone in the West says they're not a feminist, it's fairly safe to assume they don't believe women should be excluded from the franchise and lose the right to own property. Instead, it's much more likely that they're saying they reject the radical aspects of modern feminism that demonize men. So, funnily enough, it's actually people's acceptance of equality that's causing so few of them, including women, to embrace the feminist label. It's true that gender inequality still exists in the world, but focusing on things like, sexism in the dictionary doesn't help women who face actual problems, like those who are subjected to female genital mutilation or denied the right to go to school. So in conclusion, third-wave feminists should check their own privilege for once. Equality is celebrated in the West, and we're lucky to live here. Maybe if these feminists focused on real women's issues, and not imaginary ones, there wouldn't be so much backlash against them. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more. Bye!